Okay, we've now seen how to use the sine, the cosine, or the tangent, or the inverse sine, the inverse cosine, or the inverse tangent. I want to be sure that you know when is the right time to use which one. Look at the diagram on the top. Do you see that in this case we know the angle? The angle is 25. What we do not know is the length of a side. Compare that with this triangle. In this example, we know the lengths of two of the sides, but we do not know the size of the angle. Whenever we don't know the length of the side, that's when we use the sine, the cosine, or the tangent. When we don't know the size of the angle, that's when we're going to use the inverse sine, the inverse cosine, or the inverse tangent. Let's decide the appropriate one for both of these. Well, if that's my angle, then this next to it is an adjacent. And we know that across from the right angle is the hypotenuse. Which one uses an adjacent and a hypotenuse? Well, if we go to SOHCAHTOA, that can help. SOHCAHTOA. And we have an adjacent and a hypotenuse. Right there is an adjacent and a hypotenuse, so that's the cosine. We should use the cosine to solve this one. Down here, if we look, here is an angle, and if that's my angle, then next to it is an adjacent, and across from the right angle is, of course, the hypotenuse. And which one uses an adjacent and a hypotenuse? Oh, that looks like, again, that's a cosine, but since I'm working with an angle, that means I'm going to need to use the inverse cosine.